what's going on? This is RJ from Game News USA, back today with another Top 10. And today, we are talking Top 10 Kirby games of all time, according to me. So if you like Top 10 lists, if you like Kirby, if you like video games, please subscribe to the channel. And we're going to go over my Top 10 Kirby games real quick. Plenty of them did not make the list. They didn't quite make the cut. Kirby has been a franchise that I've often loved. I love platformers, especially 2D kind, and Kirby has given me game after game of banger after banger, and I wanted to present to you my top 10 list. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Number 10 on the list, Kirby 64 and the Crystal Shards. Look, I like that they experimented with Kirby a little bit. Going into the Nintendo 64, was it the best entry? By no means was it. But I thought it had potential. Potential that they wouldn't really use in a Kirby game for a while longer. But it had potential. It was somewhat fun. It was good enough to make this list. So check it out. Kirby 64. Number 9. Kirby Epic Yarn for the Wii. For some people, that's their favorite Kirby game. And for some people, they should get their temperatures checked. But, besides that, is it a fun game? Yes, it's really fun. It's super easy, but so is most of the Kirby games. And the art style is phenomenal. I enjoyed it. There's things that it missed that other Kirby entries had. But, you know, I still had a good time. And that's what a good video game will provide you, is a good time. Number 8, Kirby Dream Land for the Game Boy. This was the original OG Kirby game before you even knew he was pink. This was the early 90s. And they put this game out, and it was actually a really fun little 2D platformer to have on your little handheld Game Boy. And that was the humble beginnings of Kirby. And it was really fun, especially whenever you face the first boss, the tree, which you all probably know if you're a Kirby fan. Number 7 is Kirby Dream Land 2. So they brought out the sequel for the Game Boy, and it was better and more refined, with better enemies and better level design. You could tell they were improving upon the Kirbyverse. Number 6, not to sound like a broken record, Kirby Dream Land 3. However, this game was much different than the first two. It was in color, number 1. Number 2, it was actually on the Super Nintendo. And it had this weird, almost claymation style animation. So again, Kirby killing it, crushing it with a great art style. And I really enjoyed this game quite a lot. But it wasn't the best Super Nintendo game of Kirby. The best Super Nintendo game of Kirby was Kirby Superstar. Why? That's the Kirby people picture in their mind the most, probably. Copy abilities, different game modes, just packed full of creativity, the likes of which we've never seen in the Kirby series before. That game is great. Number 4, Kirby Planet Robobot on the 3DS. Full disclosure, around 2016, that's when around the time I took my hiatus from gaming for a year. But here's the deal. Even though I was feeling a lull in gaming, the Wii U was at the tail end of its life cycle right before the Switch was coming out. Planet Robobot was an awesome game. It was probably my game of the year of 2016, as crazy as that sounds, because it was just really fun. It reinvigorated the series, including robots, and I would really like to see this game again, but ported over to the Switch or the Switch 2. It absolutely deserves a little more attention, and even a little bit more love. Let's give the Kirby a little bit more love, shall we? Number 3 on the list, Kirby's Adventure on the NES. Yes, it was an NES game, but it came out in 1993, and it absolutely crushed it. It was way better than the Game Boy games were of Kirby. It was in color. You had better bosses, better level design, and it looked phenomenal for an NES game. You'd be shocked they were able to put it on the NES. The UI was so clean. Everything about this game was crisp and well done and holds up to this day over 30 years later. And if I were to play a Kirby that's older, this is the one that I go to. Number 2, Kirby Return to Dreamland on the Wii. Why? 4-player co-op, 2D platformer. They brought back Kirby in a way that made sense with Return to Dreamland. They brought back all the favorites. They brought back all the level design they used to do. But they gave it a modern twist and a modern setting to it. And like I just said, 4-player co-op Kirby. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love that? That's number 2 on the list. But number 1 is Kirby's most recent big release. And it's on the Switch. And you know where I'm going with this. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. What a phenomenal game. Under the radar for most people. It's like Super Mario 3D World, but it's Kirby. It's a 2.5D, kind of a 3D-ish platformer, but with level design where you have to go through the level to the end, so it's not like a star-based thing like Mario 64 or anything. So this completely reinvigorated and reinvented how Kirby games are going forward. Yes, you might still get straight-up 2D games. I don't know if you'll ever get a big 3D game like a Mario Odyssey style for Kirby. But this new, like, 2.5D, somewhat 3D Kirby game, you know, is amazing. It's great to play this game. The level design is phenomenal, and I love the challenge levels and the abilities you get. Especially like the ability you could swallow a car and you become the car or a cone, and it helps you progress through the level. I thought the final boss was epic. I thought that at times there was a little bit of a challenge if you're not playing on Spring Breeze mode for the first time in a Kirby game. Most Kirby games are easy. Even if you go back to the old Kirby games, back in the old systems, they're a lot easier than the games of that era. So, to see just a little bit of challenge with some of these boss fights in a Kirby game was really fun to see. But it is a game for all ages, and I really love the Kirby series. I think it's an underrated platforming game. And other than Mario, or maybe Donkey Kong, I prefer Kirby over Mega Man. So, I honestly probably prefer Kirby over Sonic. Maybe. I don't know. It's close. Kirby's definitely, to me, a top 5 all-time platforming icon. So with that being said, guys, that is the top 10 list this week. Thank you all for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What is your favorite Kirby game of all time and why? Or is there a Kirby game you don't like that you want to talk about? Thank you all for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video, share it out to your friends. Have a good day.